Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to Storytime with Aunty Marybeth. Are you excited to be here? If you are, let me see you give me a thumbs up like this. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. All right. I am so excited to be here and I am going to be telling you a story. Today we're going to be talking about Imade, the Lost Princess. I don't want to waste time. Let's jump right into our story. The network was trying to stop me, but I told the network, don't try me. Today, I have to come and share this beautiful Imade story with my little ones. Are you ready? If you are ready, let's go. Once upon a time, before we go,
Auntie Marybeth,
who is that?
Ayomide.
How are you, Ayomide?
Can my brother stay? He's 4 years old.
It's okay.
Can he listen to the story?
Yes,
He's
he
not
can.
in the class, but
It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, Ayomide. Thank you. He can stay. So now admin is going to mute everybody so that we can listen to the story. When we are done, we will now gist and we will now talk. So call your brothers, call your sisters, call your friends, gather around because we want to talk about Imade, the lost princess. Are you ready? Once upon a time, who is ready? I want to see you ready. If you're ready, give me a thumbs up. All right, now let's tell our story. Once upon a time. Once upon a time. Once upon a time. All right, let your brother be here, Ayomide. Okay. Many years ago, I am starting. Many years ago, before Princess Imade was born, the kingdom of Ijeto was ruled by her grandfather, Oba Ajose. During his reign, a fierce war broke out between Ijeto and the neighboring land of Ijale. Oba Ajose's army won the war because his army was very strong. And as it was the custom at the time, he took many people from that land and made them slaves. He looted the land of Ijale, taking their livestock, their chicken, their goats, their sheep. He took all of it. He took their property. And many of their people were captured and he turned them into slaves when they got back to Ijetu. And then the king, or the Oba as he was called, now passed away. He went to be with his ancestors. When this happened, his son was made the king. And as soon as his son was made the king, do you know the first thing that he did? He decided that he didn't want slaves anymore in the land. And so he made a decree. A decree is passing a law. He passed a law that all the slaves that were brought during the war were to be made free. And so he released all the slaves to go back to their land. The slaves were happy. They danced. They rejoiced. They sang the praises of the king. Oh, Oba the Great. Oh, Oba the Great, they sang. And the Oba commanded the army to give them 10 big boats. And they packed the people onto the boats and they sailed all the way to their land. As the people went off, they sang the praises of the king again. The great Oba, the great Oba, the great Oba, they sang. And they got to their land very happy. Years later, a daughter was born to the Oba, and he named her Imade. She was a breath of fresh air. Imade was cheerful. Imade was energetic. Imade was a spirit-filled girl with boundless and happy and exciting feelings. Imade loved to explore, and everyone loved Imade. She would run through the grass, she would run through the land. In fact, Imade would go and hang around where the shepherds took care of the goats and the sheep. Everybody loved Imade. As Imade grew up, her father warned her one day, Imade, I know you like to swim in the river. I know you love to play on the plain. I know you love to go and hang out out there with the shepherd. But there is one thing I want you never to do. I never want you to swim beyond the boundaries of our village. Whenever you swim, before you get to the boundaries, I want you to Oh my goodness, can you hear me? Can you see me now? Okay. If you can hear me, just write in the chat room. Sorry, I think we had the network. Write in the chat room if you can see me. I can see you, Coach Marybeth. I need that confirmation to know if I should continue. In the chat room, if you can see me, I can see you, I can hear you. Am I on, please, admin? All right, looks like you can see me and you can hear me. Can someone say that in the chat room? Can you see me? Admin, am I on? All right, I want to assume that you can see me and you can hear me. I'm not sure. Adachuku, can you see me and hear me? Can someone chat in the room if you can see me and you can hear me? All right, so I'm going to continue. I can see myself. So I want to assume that. Okay, someone said yes. Thank you very much. So I can move on now. All right. So let's go on. Sorry about that. We had a glitch right there. As I said, let's get back to our story. So Imade was a breath of fresh air. She was vibrant. She was cheerful. She was energetic. With a spirit as boundless as the wind, Imade would dance around in the plain. Imade will run around the compound. Imade will dance, and Imade will even go and sit with the palace shepherd to tell her stories. And above all, Imade loved to swim in the river, especially the Aye River. But her father warned her, Imade, my precious star, you may swim and play as much as you like, but you must never cross the other side of the Aye River. Beyond our borders lies danger. Now, although the king released all the slaves from Ijale land, there were people who were from the old generation who still did not trust the king. And so they felt bitter. They were angry and they were still very upset with the land of Ijetu. One day, Imade and her friend and cousin Alaoye decided to go and swim in the river as usual. They were very, very close and very fond of each other, and they liked to think of themselves as girl warriors. So they will create sword from trees and they will pretend to be warriors and they will fight with their sword. And so that day they decided they wanted to go and swim in the Aye River. When they got there, they looked at the beautiful water. They looked and imagined what it would feel like to cross to the other side of the river. And so Araoye looked across the wide, shimmering river towards the thick forests. And she said to her friend, Imade, Araoye whispered, her eyes dancing with excitement, look over there. Have you ever wondered what kind of fruits and what kind of trees and what kind of adventure we can find on the other side of the river? What if there is a magical chest somewhere there? What if there are some animals hiding behind the trees? Imade's heart fluttered. But she was so excited. She really wanted to see what was on the other side of the river. because Imade was very curious. But Imade said to her cousin and friend, "My father warned us never to cross. He said it isn't safe." "Oh, come on," Imade Araoye urged. She tapped her shoulder and said, "We are warriors, aren't we? We won't stay long. We will just go in. We will explore the kingdom, and then we will come back like warriors." Imade was a bit frightened, especially because her father told her there is danger on the other side. But Imade was so curious, she wanted to know what was on the other side. And so Imade stared into the mist rising on the far side of the farther side of the river. She remembered what her father told her, but she was too adventurous and decided to go anyway. And so she agreed with a mischievous grin, just for a little while. "Come on, let's go," Imade said. And so Imade and her friend and cousin Araoye jumped into the shimmering river and started to swim. The two girls, after diving in, dug through the rivers. They were such good swimmers, and so they sliced through the currents with ease. They sliced in and they kept on swimming and swimming and swimming. Halfway across, the water became dark blue at the exact spot where Imade's father forbade her from swimming. A wave of fear washed over Imade, but she almost turned back. But Araoye called out, "Look, Imade, we are almost there. Let's go, girl. Let's go, girl. We can do it. Remember, we are warriors." And so Imade got excited again. And she kicked harder, and she swam all the way to the other side. When their feet touched the muddy ground of the opposite shore, everywhere around them looked different. The trees were taller, casting long shadows on the ground, and the air was thick with the scent of damp earth. Wow, this is beautiful. The two girls jumped and danced around, laughing and feeling like warriors indeed. Then Araoye had an idea. "Let's split up since we don't have so much time, so that we'll be faster. So you go to the right and I'll go to the left. And then we will look through. As we are going, I'm going to take stones. You can take some leaves and make a path as you go so that we remember how to get back to the spot before it's sunset and our shadows become taller." So the two girls agreed that they would go and they will return before their shadows become taller. Because as the day moves towards sunset, our shadows become taller. And so the both of them agreed and they left. So as Imade walked through the forest, she became a little scared. But she kept on going because she kept on telling herself, "Oh, Imade, you are a warrior. Oh, Imade, you are a warrior. Imade hesitated, but the eager warrior inside of her would not let her stop. She listened to the birds as they chirped. All right, guys, I'm so sorry about this. Can you see me? I think you can see me and you can hear me. So sorry about this. Okay, we've had some really bad glitch. All right, so let's continue. I'm sorry about this. Okay, but you know the thing. I am going to put the story together and you're going to have the full story. Okay, I'm going to tell you the full story after this session. But let's continue with all our challenges. I hope we don't have any anymore. All right, so let's go on, right? Let's go on. Okay, so around, as in, Imani got very scared, but she refused to stop because the warrior in her kept on telling her, "You can do this, Imadi." So Imade grew, as in she kept on going. She kept on going. She passed through the bamboo trees. She passed through the agbanumo tree. She saw the tall iroko tree. But Imade kept on going because the warrior in her told her that she could do it. And so, after some time, she started to hear some rustling from the trees. And then she stopped and froze on her path. And she became really scared. And then just then, before she knew what was happening, three men came out of the bush and they grabbed her. Imade kept on pushing and fighting. "Leave me alone, leave me alone, let me go, let me go. I'm just a little girl, leave me alone." And she screamed, "Somebody help me, somebody help me." But it was was no one to help Imade. The men were fierce and big and very strong, and they carried Imade. And one of them put his hand over her mouth to make sure she wasn't shouting anymore, or to make sure that nobody could hear her. Meanwhile, Arawi was still going all around. And then she noticed that her shadow was becoming taller and taller. And so Arawi started to make her way back to the spots, following the stones that she had been throwing all along. And after a while, Arawi got to the spots, but Imade wasn't there. At first, she thought that Imade was just a little late. But after some time, it started to get dark, and she realized that maybe Imade was lost. She cried, she called out, she tried to follow the path that Imade made with her leaves, but there was no Imade. At this point, Araoye knew she had to do one thing. She knew she had to run back to the village and tell the Oba what they had done. And so Araoye ran back, jumped into the river, and she swam as fast as her legs and her hands could take her. Then she got to the village and went to the Oba's palace. She cried and cried and cried and told the Oba how she and Imade had not listened or followed his instruction and what happened when they got there. The king was so upset, but he was more concerned about finding Imade at this point. And so he called out, "Get me the warriors of the land." And so the warriors came. "I need you to search the land. Go across the river and look for my daughter. Make sure you find her. Without her, don't come back here." And so the men went. For 3 days, they searched the left, the right, and all the corners of the forest. But there was no Imade. The king was sad. The Olori, the mother of Imade, cried and cried and cried, but there was no Imade in sight. The king sent back another group of warriors.
It sounds like you're diving into a story.
Go back and look for Imade. They went back and they searched some more, but no one could find Imade. Back in Ijale, the news was everywhere, and everyone cried. It was like a thunderbolt as hit the land. And everybody cried because they all love Imade. They cried bitterly. Meanwhile, Imade was brought to the village of Ijale by the strong men, and they locked her up in a small compound guarded by fierce security guards all through the day. No one could come in and no one could go out except the woman who made food for Imade. So one day, the woman brought some food for Imade and she carried a tray with her. She got in and she looked at Imade and she felt very sorry for her. And so she said, "Get up, my little one. Get up and eat some food." Imade had cried eyes till they were red and sore. And so the woman knelt down and touched her on her back. Get up, my darling, and eat some food. Imadi sat up and wiped her eyes with the back of her hands. All she felt at that time was regret, and all her warrior spirit had crushed into fear and regrets. She missed her parents, she missed her home, and she missed her father's gentle voice. On the 5th day of her captivity, the wooden door of her hut cracked open, and the woman who brings food to her came in again. But this time, she sat down while she handed Imade the simmering bowl of porridge and a calabash of fresh water. She said to Imade, "My name is Simbiat. Who are you? What's your name? And where did you come from?" So Imade wiped her eyes again, and this time she was ready to talk. "My name is Imade, and I am the princess from the land across. I am the princess." Are you there with me? If you're there, give me a thumbs up so that I know you're still with me. Okay, give me a thumbs up. Let me see the thumbs up. Let me see the thumbs up. Amazing. Beautiful. Amazing. So Imade said to her, "I am the princess of Ijeto. My father is the Oba." Simbiat froze. Her eyes widened and her hand began to tremble. She asked, "Did you say that your father is the Oba of Ijeto?" And Imade nodded her head. "My father is the Oba of Ijeto." Simbiat at that point started to cry. "Your father, the good Oba of Ijeto? You mean your father is the Oba of Ijeto? Your father freed my family when I was a little girl. He freed us. It's because of your father that I am no more a prisoner and I am no more a slave. Your father is a good man." And after that, she wiped her eyes and she made a promise. She made a promise to Imade. "Because of the act of mercy that your father showed my family, because your father freed my family from slavery, I promise you, you will see your father again." And so Simbia told Imade to wipe her eyes, eat some food, drink some water, and lie down. I, Simbiat, must make sure that you see your father again. And so Simbiat took her tray and ran home to her family. When she got home, she told her husband everything. She told her husband everything. And the husband agreed with Simbiat that they owed this one thing to the Oba of Ijetu. Without another word, Simbiat wrapped her hand around her husband and they agreed that they would do this for the king. They would free his daughter even if they lost their lives why they were trying to do it. The next day, Symbiote came, gave Imade some more food, and told her about the plan. Get ready. I will be here in the night. And so Imade sat up, waiting. She was scared. She was trembling. She was hopeful. Tonight, we pay back, Imade said to her husband, Debo. And so that night, Debo had planned with the famous fisherman, Ondo, that Ondo will be waiting for them by the bamboo tree at the bank of the river. And so Symbiote will go in and get Imade. So that night, together, they decided to execute their plans. When Symbiote went to give Imade her evening meal, she took a bowl, a calabash of palm wine, and handed to the guards and told them, you have been so good to me, and you have been such good guards in the kingdom. Drink. I brought this for you. And so the men drank. And after a few minutes, they slept off. So Symbiote went into the hut, grabbed Imade's hand, and they started to run. They ran and ran, and they met up with Debo. And they ran some more until they got to the river bank, where Ondo was waiting for them. Ondo, the fisherman, got them into his boats. And because they didn't want to get into any trouble with anyone, they made Symbiote lie down in the boats, and they covered her up with some plantain leaves and used some of the basket of fish that Ondo had caught that night and put it at the edge of the plantain leaves. And so Ondo and Debo rowed the boats all the way until they got to the other side of the river. At this point, the first ray of sunlight had started slicing through the trees and all the way to the river. When they got to the river bank, do you want to know what happened when they got to the river bank? If you want to know what happened when they got to the river bank, let me see your thumbs up again. Give me a thumbs up if you are ready to know what happened when they got to the river bank. Yes, 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 I see you. Yes, yes, yes. And so quickly, Debo jumped out of the boat and then ran all the way to the palace and asked to see the king. The guards were trying to stop him, but he said, no, I bring good news to you. Let the king come with me. I will take him to his daughter. The king ran out of his palace and ran, following Debo all the way to the river bank. And there she was, Imade. Imade ran and hugged her father. Her father cried and kissed his daughter. He was so happy to see her. And all the villagers came out and they rejoiced with Imade's father. The entire land rejoiced. They sang and they danced and they rejoiced some more. That's Princess Imade, who was lost, was now found. And that is how Imade returned back to her family. Now, Imade learned her lesson. Of course, Araoye came and Araoye joined in the celebration. She told Imade and her father how sorry she was that she dragged Imade into this. And that's the end of our story. Can I get some thumbs up? Now we are going to be talking about some of the lessons in this story. Did you learn anything from this story? Now, this is one of the many stories that we are going to be sharing at the 30 days safari. Our 30-day story safari starts tomorrow. If you have not registered for that safari, you better go and register, because in the safari, we are going to be talking not just folk tales like this. I am going to be taking you through African traditions, and we're going to be telling stories of true African traditions and our culture. And we're going to be telling more stories like this during the challenge. Yes. And guess what? You are going to be a part of this, because you're going to be acting out some of the stories and you're going to be role-playing some of the stories. Now we're going to have a conversation. Admin is going to unmute you and we are going to review some part of this story. We have about 10 minutes to do that. So you're going to be unmuted right now so that we can talk about this story. Okay? All right then. Admin, can we go now? Can we unmute ourselves? Admin? All right then. So this is how we're going to be doing it. We're going to do it just so that it's not too rowdy. If I ask a question and you have an answer, I want you to put your hand up and answer. So admin will unmute you. So if you want to give any answers, make sure you put your hands up. In this challenge, we're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be having a lot of lessons, but most of it through stories like this. Now tell me, if you were Imade and Araoye said you should do this, what would you have done? What would you have done, right, if you were Imade? All right, let's go with Victoria. All right, Victoria is going to be unmuted. Victoria, I want you to tell us what you would have done if you were Imade and Araoye had tried to convince you to go with her. What would you have done? Let's go. Victoria, please, come see. Allow Victoria unmute. All right, Victoria, we're listening to you.
If I was Imade, I would have not followed Araoye because I would be scared and I would not want to enter trouble.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Victoria. All right, now I want someone to get up, turn on your camera, and act like Araoye. I want to see you act like Araoye probably acted when she was telling Imade that they should go, that they are warriors. Who wants to do that act for us? Because you have to turn on your camera and we want to see your warrior face as you're doing this. All right, let's go. Who's going to do that? I can see Ireolua. All right, let Ireolua do the act for us. Ireolua, unmute yourself and turn on your camera and show us imagine that you are Araoye. Let us see how you convinced Imade. Ireolua. Allow Ireolua unmute herself and Ireolua, you can unmute yourself and turn on your camera now. Ireolua, She can turn on her camera too. Turn on is okay. We are just turn on the camera. Okay, sorry. Admin says we cannot turn on our camera. So can you just unmute yourself and let us hear the warrior in your voice? Okay, we're not turning on our camera because sometimes when we turn on our camera, YouTube will shut down this video because it says we're too young to be on a live stream without our mommies and daddies. So let's leave YouTube alone. All right, so just unmute yourself and let us hear the warrior voice trying to convince Imade to go with you into the river. All right, go ahead, Ijeolua. Ijeolua, are you ready?
Yes, ma.
All right,
Imade, let's go and explore.
all right. Imade, let's go and explore. You've not finished. Finish it up. You know we are.
Imade, let us go and explore. You know we have friends that we should go. We are warriors.
We are warriors. Well done, I can imagine. All right, we're going to take some assignments home today, okay? And you're going to share with us in the group. Number one assignment, I want each of you to dress up as a warrior and try to convince your brother or your sister to go with you to cross the river. I want you to role play being a warrior. Number two, I want you as Imade, right? I want you as Imade to role play how you told Symbiat that you are the queen's daughter. I want you to act like Imade would have acted when she was having that conversation with Symbiat. The next question I'm going to ask now is, now, if you were symbiotes, and you were given a responsibility to feed a prisoner, and you find out that the prisoner is who the prisoner is, would you have done what Symbiat did? Do you think that Symbiat did the right thing or not? After all, she was given a responsibility. Someone trusted her. So what do you think? Do you think that Symbiat did the right thing, or that Symbiat herself was a betrayer? Who wants to share that one? Make sure you think about it and you share very intelligently. So let me see who is ready to answer that one. Okay, let me go with Emmanuel Joy. Emmanuel Joy, share with us, if you were Symbiat, what would you do? And do you think that Symbiat did the right thing? All right, Emmanuel Joy.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I would pray and then clean up my teeth, and then I would go help someone who was stuck.
All right, I didn't hear that very clearly. Is it me or is you?
If
Okay.
I was yes, I would listen to my parents.
All right, thank you for sharing, Symbiat. Okay, so now let's bring this home. Now, I want someone that will do this. If your parents actually put your brother or sister, right, in some sort of, punishment, or something, right, because of something they did, and you have the opportunity to let them go or to allow them have what mommy or daddy said they shouldn't do, would you do it? Okay, I want you to give me different reasons why you should do it or why you would not do it. Your mom has given your brother a consequence because of something that your brother did. Maybe mom has said that your brother cannot have a treat because of something that he did. And now you have a lot, you have more than you need. Would you give some to your brother? And tell me why you would do that. And if you will not give some to him, also tell me why you wouldn't do that. So let's go. Who wants to share? Jedediah, you want to share? Go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us. If your brother has been given a consequence and you can change it when mommy is not there, would you do it? Share with us. Yes, Jedediah,
If
we're
my
waiting for
brother
you.
is doing a if my brother is on a punishment and mommy said that do you want him to stay there or you don't want? Or maybe something I don't like that I used to warn him that you should not do, that I did not listen, that was the day he did the punishment. I'll say no, that let him continue the consequence. But if I did not like, if he not did it today, I might say okay, let him go.
Okay, so if mommy is not there, you will actually free him or let him have it just because. Okay, is that right? Is that wrong? We will come to it. Okay, let's go to the next one. If you were Imade's dad, when Imade got back, what would you do to her? You were Imade's dad and Imade did not listen to you. When Imade got back, what would you do to Imade? How would you receive Imade? What would you say to Imade? Who is going to share with us? Nani's signature. I know that is mommy's name or something. Who is behind Nani's signature? Do you want to share with us? Who is behind Nani's signature? You want to share with us? Unmute yourself and share with us. The person behind Nani's signature. All right, doesn't look like that person is coming on. Let's go to Mildred. Mildred, you want to share with us? If you were Imade's parents, Imade's mom or Imade. Okay, Nani wants to share. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. What's your name?
Ariella.
All right, go ahead, my darling.
Imade doesn't like to listen to her parents because she likes to go for a walk without her parents, but her parents tell her to don't go, but she doesn't go.
So if you were Imade's parents, let's say you were Imade's mommy, what would you do when Imade got back? After they saved her and she got back, what would you do to her? What would you say to her?
Don't go outside without her permission.
Would you get angry with her? Would you be upset?
Yes.
Thank you for being sincere. All right. So, but Imade's father was so happy to see her. He was so happy that she was safe that he forgot all about what she did. And I know sometimes our parents are like that too. You know, they're more concerned about us being safe. And so they just forget for the moment. And then later they will come back and talk to us about it, isn't it? All right. Thank you for sharing. All right. So now let's go to our last, because I need to let you guys go. It's getting late. All right, so let's take our last question. Okay, let's take our last question. And our last question, nobody's going to say it. Everybody's going to go to the comments or to the chat room and they will give me their answer in the last question. In the last question. Now, the last question, I want you to write 5 lessons that you learned from the story. 5, okay, let's make it 3. So I want you to write 3 things that you learned from this lesson. Whether it is, tell me where you learned it from. Is it from Imade's father, the king? Is it from Symbiote? Is it from Imade? Is it from Araoye? Just tell me 3 things at least that you learned from this story. I learned this from Imade's father. I learned this from Araoye. I learned this from Imade. Go ahead and do that. And while you're doing that, I want you to remember your assignment. 2 of it. Number 1, you are going to dress yourself like the warrior girl or boy, like Araoye and Imade and you're going to convince your brother or your sister about something you want them to do. I want you to stand like someone who can convince another person and do this. Cassie, do we have our comment session activity? All right, so admin is going to open the comment session so that you can put your 3 lessons that you learned from this story today. Okay, so do you know I tell stories like this every weekend? Every weekend, I tell a story. It is called Storytime with Aunty Marybeth. So I need you to go on YouTube, or tell your parents to go on YouTube and find Marybeth Chima, Parenting Through Mentorship. Okay, find Parenting Through Mentorship and subscribe so that every time the story of the week drops, you get to watch it. You can watch the stories that are there already. Okay, that's one. Number 2, do you know we have a challenge, a 30 days challenge, where we'll be telling stories like this. We will challenge yourself. You will challenge yourself to read between 5 and 10 books in these 30 days. Some of them are going to be African books. I'm going to share about it in the group so that you know what we're doing. But that challenge is starting tomorrow. Obey your father, somebody said. I learned to obey my parents. I want 3. Everybody should give me 3. Okay, obey your parents. What else? 3 things. Write them. Number 1, this. Number 2, this. Number 3, this. Okay? Now, in that challenge, we will read books. We will have story safari like this one. We will I will tell stories about animals in the safari. We will talk about African history and African culture. Somebody said, I learned we should always listen to our parents and follow instructions. What did you learn from Symbiotes? What did you learn from Symbiotes? I want to hear what you learned from Symbiotes. Repay good deeds. Thank you. Fantastic. Queen Amarachi says, take responsibility for yourself. Awesome. Right? Awesome. But do you know that even Imade, in all that she did, she was also very brave and courageous? Yes, she disobeyed her dad, but there's something right there to learn from Imade as well. So share with me. I want to see more. More, everybody. I want to see 3 things that you learned from this story today. Let me see what you learned. Let me see them. Put them in the comments. I want to see them. Okay? So in the reading challenge, we're going to be in the reading story safari. We're going to do this and more. All right? So you can register for the story safari today and join us tomorrow. We'll put this in the group so that your parents can see it. Ask your parents to check, about the story safari and register you. For 30 days, you have activities that you do with your family every day. You're going to role play. You are going to do a lot of amazing things. We're going to do a lot of amazing things together. And you get to listen to amazing stories in these 30 days. I am not seeing the answers. Let me see them. 10. Okay, awesome. Let me see. Someone said, always tell your parents wherever you are going. Yes, amazing. Tell your parents wherever you are going all the time. Awesome. Admin, put them off for me. Do you do that? I learned that kindness pays. When we are kind, people will be kind to us. Kindness always returns back to us when we are kind. Awesome. Amazing. Beautiful. Okay, don't be having, oh, what's that one? Always tell your parents where you're going to. Awesome. Someone said, I learned we should always listen to instruction because our parents know what's good for us. We should always listen to their instruction. Good. It is good to help. Okay, it is good to help. Awesome. I learned to stand up for myself and to stand up for my own decision. Amazing. Don't disobey your parents. Fantastic. Don't disobey. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I like it. We should not let other people make us do the wrong thing. I love this one. I love this one. Awesome. So I can see that we have all learned one thing or the other. All right. So this is beautiful. Okay, but we can learn more. I learned to listen to my parents, obey my parents, and pay good with good. Thank you, Fumilayo. Amazing response there. Awesome, awesome. I don't follow bad friends. Beautiful. Do you know sometimes your good friends can actually come up with things, just because they're excited. It doesn't make them bad, but you have to learn how to stand for what you know is right. Don't let people confuse you, okay? Beautiful. All right. So thank you very much, Aseda. I'm sure you learned a lot, Aseda. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I look forward to seeing all of you at the reading challenge because we'll be having lots of fun in that challenge. So tell your parents to get you. It's very affordable, just 5,999, and you are in the challenge. And we will be telling more of the stories, and we will be doing an activity every day. Yes, and we will be learning every day from the challenge, and you will be reading books, and you will be sharing with us every day. I will hold you accountable in that challenge. So you want to be a part of the challenge. All right. So tell your parents to look in the group and they will see how to join the challenge. Thank you for joining me, boys and girls, today. I had a nice time, even though we had all of those glitches. But guess what? I'm going to have you have the story, the full story, as I tell it, right? You will have it. I will send you a link so that you can watch the full story on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of the evening, and I look forward to seeing you in another episode, or I seeing you at the challenge where we share another exciting time of storytelling and story review. Now we will have lots of role play. When you do your role play, post it in the group. Let's see it there. Thank you, everyone. Bye.